Hello, it's Deepa from the Beaumont Library with your recommended read. Today I'll be reading an excerpt from The House We Grew Up In by Lisa Jewell with permission by Atria. April 2011. The damp heat came as a shock after the chill of the air conditioning that had cooled the car for the last 2 hours. Meg slammed the door behind her, pushed up the sleeves of her cotton top, pulled down her sunglasses and stared at the house. Jesus Christ! Molly joined her on the pavement and gawped from behind lime green Ray-Bans. Oh my God! They stood together for a moment, side by side, the same height as each other now. Molly had caught up last summer, much to her delight. They now both stood at 5'8". Molly long and lean as a fashion drawing, tanned legs in denim hot pants, honey-dusted hair bundled on top of her head in an artful pile, white Havaianas, a chambray shirt over a pink tank top, tiny ankles and wrists layered in friendship circlets and rubber bands. Meg, on the other hand, solid as a quarterback, sensible in 3/4 length navy chinos and a Breton striped long sleeve top, a pair of silver sequined fit-flops, and a last-minute pedicure, her only concession to the unseasonal heat wave. Mother and only daughter, in the late stages of a nightmarish cliched teenage disaster that had lasted more than 3 years. Almost friends now. Almost. Someone had once told Meg that you get your daughter back when she's 19. Only 4 more years to wait. This is worse than I thought. I mean, so much worse. Meg shook her head and took a tentative step towards the house. There it stood, brick for brick, exactly as it had been the day she was born 40 years earlier. 3 low windows facing out onto the street, 4 windows above, 2 front doors, one on either end. On the right by the side entrance, a plaque made by a long-dead local craftsman, an oval with the words, "The Birdhouse," painted on it, and a pair of lovebirds with their beaks entwined. The green painted gate to the left of the house that opened up onto a gravel path to the back door, the stickers in the windows declaring membership of Neighborhood Watch. Whatever happened to Neighborhood Watch, Meg wondered idly. Allegiance to the RSPB and an intolerance towards people selling door to door. All there, just as it had been forever and ever, except... "This is the worst house I've ever seen," said Molly. "It's worse than the ones on the TV shows." "We haven't even been inside yet, Moll. Hold that thought." "And my nose too, right?" "Yes, probably," she sighed. The windows, which to her recollection had never been cleaned, were now so thick with grime that they were fully opaque. In fact, they were black. The pastel yellow Gloucester brick was discolored and damaged. The green gate was hanging off its post by one solitary nail, and the graveled pathway was piled high with random objects. 2 old pushchairs, a rusty bike, a dead Christmas tree in a broken pot, a box of magazines swollen and waterlogged to twice their original size. The flat-fronted style of the house meant that it held most of its personality within and behind, but even on such scant display, it was clear that this house had a disease. The village had grown more and more gentrified over the decades. All the old houses scrubbed to a gleaming yellow, doors and window frames farrow and bald to the nth degree, and there, lodged between them like a rotten tooth, sat the birdhouse. "God, it's so embarrassing," said Molly, pushing her Ray-Bans into her hair and wrinkling her tiny nose. "What must everyone think?" Meg raised her eyebrows. She said. "I'd say that judging by our local reputation, this is probably no more than anyone in the village would expect. Come on then," she smiled at her daughter nervously. "Let's go in, shall we? Get it over with?" Molly smiled back grimly and nodded. And that was an excerpt from The House We Grew Up In. I hope you check it out.